Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Wrights and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fan fiction. Thank you so much to ChocoLuck Chipz for allowing me to use their amazing artwork in my thumbnail. If you'd like to check them out, their info will be linked below. If you're enjoying Adrienette April, give this video a big like and subscribe so I know. Also leave me a comment below. If you're not sure what to comment, say Adrien is Cat Noir. Now then, please enjoy Adrienette April, Day 11. Lunch. Ladybug sat, legs swinging on the edge of the Eiffel Tower. Her partner sat next to her, balancing a fidget spinner on the tip of his clawed index finger. "Did you have to bring that with you?" Ladybug said, a smile playing across her lips. "You're just jealous that you can't do this." He shoved his hand in her face, the black and green spinner whooshing in endless circles. The spotted superheroine rolled her eyes, grabbing the toy, stopping its circular motions. Cat's jaw dropped. He couldn't believe she just took his spinner like that. Without asking! The nerve! "Okay, what are you?" "Just watch and learn, kitty cat." Ladybug ceremoniously placed the fidget spinner on her own finger, giving it one turn. It spun around in a blur, looking like it could take off at any moment. "Well, ladybugs are lucky, so," Cat Noir grumbled, taking back the toy, clutching it in his hands. She giggled, getting to her feet and stretching out her stiff back. "And that's patrol!" she exclaimed. "As much as I love showing you up, I better get going." She pulled out her magical yo-yo, about to take off. "Why? You got a hot date or something?" Cat teased. In their teenage years, he had a huge crush on her. But as he entered adulthood, he found his true love, and so did she. And then Cat Noir found out. She's one and the same. It only strengthened his feelings for her. Everything fell into place the way it was supposed to. Hiding that Ladybug was actually engaged to him took a lot of effort, but he managed. Ladybug smiled a large grin and nodded. "A hot date, yeah, something like that. My fiancé and I are meeting to discuss some wedding details over lunch." "Wow, sounds more like a business transaction." He continued to poke fun at her. She lightly shoved his shoulder. "Whatever, Cat. Don't you have a girlfriend or something to get back to?" "Fiancé, actually, also. I popped the question not long ago." He smiled with a sense of pride. He should go too. His new fiancée didn't know he was a superhero. If she knew, he felt confident that she would understand his tardies. But it wasn't like she was always on time either. Mostly for the same reasons. They really were made for each other. "Congratulations!" She scooped him into a hug. Cat had to work to keep the hug brief, wanting nothing more than to hold her in his arms. "Well, I'm sure I'll be fashionably late by now. See ya, kitty!" She waved a spotted hand before disappearing beyond the horizon. He stared in her direction after she was long gone, smiling like an idiot. One day he'd tell her. "Sorry I'm late," Adrien said, placing a kiss on the crown of Marinette's head. "I took an extra minute so I could go home and grab your wedding binder." He placed a heavy 3-ring binder on the table, filled with pictures of every wish the happy couple had for their wedding. "Wow, I didn't even think to grab it. You're the best." She reached out, taking his hand, stroking the top with her thumb. She flipped through a few pages as the waitress brought drinks and took their order. "Seriously, Adrien?" He looked at his fiancée curiously, no clue what she could be referring to. Oh no. He had tucked his fidget spinner in the back pocket of the plastic binder. Why didn't he just leave it at home while he was there? Plagg always told him that all his Akuma fighting probably made him lose a few brain cells being hit on the head one too many times. Maybe he was right. Adrien decided to just laugh it off. "I wonder where I put that thing." He grabbed it from her, shoving it in his pocket. "Isn't that—" she wondered quietly. "I mean, it just looks familiar is all." She cleared her throat. Adrien smiled back at her. It would have been so easy to tell her that he, her loving fiancé, had been Cat Noir since the beginning. He always wanted to tell her, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have the same one, right? He said, hoping to wiggle out of her intense speculation. She shook her head, smiling. You're right, he said, then quickly changed topics. Okay, so we have 253 days until the wedding. So, the first thing we need to do is... Who ordered the chicken Alfredo? A perky waitress bounced to their booth, holding 2 steaming plates. At that moment, Marinette's stomach let out a vicious grumble. Me, she said, her mouth nearly watering. I guess we can wait on wedding planning for a minute. Food first. The blonde waitress then placed the large plate in front of Marinette. Of course, there will be plenty of time for picking flowers or deciding between eggshell or ivory napkins or whatever people do for weddings, he said, taking a bite of his steak. You've watched too many wedding shows, Marinette laughed, a piece of fettuccine hanging from her mouth. He shrugged, passing her a napkin. I wanted to be prepared. Adrien smiled at his future bride as she shoveled in more noodles, only thinking about how he could get so lucky. One day he'd tell her. Maybe not today and maybe not tomorrow, but he enjoyed this time he spent with her just as themselves eating lunch. Even the mundane felt special with Marinette. Only 253 days left until she was Mrs. Agreste. Maybe then he'd finally tell her. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave me a comment saying, Adrien is Cat Noir. And as always, stay miraculous!